Welcome to the Motocross Supercross podcast. Podcast.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Motocross Supercross podcast.
Episode 213. We're recapping the round 15 250s in Denver. I'm Adam here with Claudio. What's up, Claudio?
That was a good one, dude. We were out there. It was crazy. It snowed throughout practice. Then it was shining, and then it was cold again. With no snow for the night show, though. And we're here to recap it.
That's right. We are going to touch on all that stuff. But first, it has been a while since we've put a podcast out. Obviously, we were in Denver. We were busy. I was in Ohio this past weekend. And yeah, so we apologize for that. But, you know, just like the riders taking a week off, we took a week off.
Yeah, we're here, though. We're here, and we're ready to recap it. We're ready for this East Rutherford or New Jersey, New York, MetLife Stadium round that's coming up.
Yeah.
But first, we got 250 from Denver, and Adam Cincerulo is going to be your fastest qualifier on this one. And there was no surprise there. You know, the only surprise was that Dylan Ferrandis was not your second fastest. And that's usually, you know, what's been happening with this West Coast 250 guys.
Yeah, and it was crazy during this qualifying because, as you said, it was snowing, which was awesome. We were just there in the snow watching the dirt bikes run, and it was like a whole thing leading up to this race, like, oh, the track is going to be so wet, it's going to be so snowy, and then Jason Wykamp put out a video like, oh, look how dry the track is, and he's like kicking it, and then, yeah, all that snow and stuff started coming down. It was just crazy. It was just like wild weather weekend, but it made it really exciting though, and especially for the practice. It was like being in a dream or something.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. I loved every second of it, even though it was snowing and we had to wear like 4 different layers of clothing. I loved it, and I would love to do it again, you know?
Yeah, hopefully they're back again next year, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, like you said, Adam Cincerulo, he was the fastest qualifier. Colt Nichols was second. Dylan Ferrandis was third. Jimmy Dakotas was fourth. Michael Mosman, who had like a killer night, was fifth. Chris Bloss was sixth. RJ Hampshire, seventh. Garrett Marchbanks, eighth. Enzo Lopez, ninth. And Cameron McAdoo, they were your top 10 in your qualifying. Also added Justin Starling back there in 13th. Martin Costello back there in 17th. But you know what, let's just go ahead and jump into these heat races because this is where some really good racing went down.
This 250 heat number 1, we have Cameron McAdoo is going to be the one that will take the whole shot on this one, with Johnny Garcia right behind him. Again, Johnny with a really good start, I will say. He almost actually took it from McAdoo, but McAdoo will be the one making a mistake in the next rhythm section and lose the lead just like that. So
sketchy whenever you're out front and then you mess up the rhythm section and you have everybody behind you. So I thought he was lucky he didn't get hit, but
he got really lucky. Very, very lucky.
Yeah, but we saw Nichols. He jumped out front. Sean Cantrell was behind him. And as you said, Johnny Garcia was up there, 255 on that Honda.
Yeah, Jimmy D.
That's right. And Chris Bloss was up there. He was running about like 5th, and he washed out one of the corners and went down. And like Brandon Leith got held up right behind him, and both of them just dropped way back, and there was just no catching up for them.
Yeah, he will go. Chris Bloss will go to the LCQ on this one. Sean Cantrell, though, who's just coming back from being out due to an injury, he'll have a little battle with McAdoo, you know, after he went down. He exchanged positions with him, and he will have a mistake. He will stall the bike and allow McAdoo who take that third spot. Chris Howell, also, you know, a friend of the show, we will say. We just had him on not too long ago. He had a little battle with Kelly, but Kelly will go down and will also go to the LCQ. Derek Kelly, that's it.
Yeah, that Derek Kelly crash, that thing was pretty gnarly. He did a whole little front flip there. He had to have hit neutral or something. Like they were saying, because his front end just went down, and then he just went. Yeah, he's lucky he didn't get hurt too.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. After that, we had Robbie Weishman, who's been having killer weekends lately. Had a little battle with Sean Cantrell, and he will manage to pass Cantrell, but that's not all because Lionette will also get Cantrell, which is not a good look if you're a factory rider.
Exactly. Dude, I was thinking the exact same thing because you have Sean Cantrell, factory, whatever it is, Troy Lee Designs, KTM, and then Robbie Wageman and Bradley Leonette. Nothing, not to brag on them or anything. They both looked really good out there, especially Wageman. But yeah, he just got straight up passed by those two. And
Exactly. It's not a good look, and that's gonna be it for the action on this one. Colt Nichols will get the win
with a knack, bro. It was awesome.
Exactly.
You know, just
enjoying
man.
it.
Yeah,
enjoying it.
Good job, Colt Nichols, with the knack.
Yeah, you're definitely not gonna get fined by us. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, Jimmy Dakotas got second. Cameron McAdoo got third. Robbie Wageman got fourth. Bradley Leonette got fifth. Sean Cantrell got sixth. Dylan Merriam got seventh. Chris Howell got eighth. Johnny Garcia, who was up front at that race, finished just in that last qualifying position, 9th place, and he's going straight to the main event.
Yeah, unless you want to look at it as on Chris Blows' perspective, who was in qualifying positions and went down and almost made it, or just missed it.
He was the first loser.
Yeah. Going into this heat number 2.
Also Garrett Marchbanks. We got to throw in Garrett Marchbanks. Had motor problems and he was out of this race too. So he has to go to the LCQ as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He had a mechanical, and kudos to the mechanics because they actually got that motor swap between, right before the LCQ, and they got it perfect. So we'll get to that in just a second. But on this one, heat number 2, we had RJ Hampshire, who's going to take the whole shot. Right behind him, though, it was going to be your championship contenders, Adam Cianciarulo and Dylan Ferrandis, with Michael Mosman, who also had a very good jump.
Yeah, this was like stacked heat out of the. Well, I don't want to say it was more stacked than the first one, but just having AC and Ferrandis in the same heat is just it makes it exciting.
Dylan Ferrandis will make some mistakes though and lose a spot to Adam Cianciarulo and almost another one to Michael Mosman, but Mosman, he kept Dylan Ferrandis really close throughout this whole heat race.
Yeah, and same with RJ. RJ did pretty good at holding off Cianciarulo pretty much the whole race, and then he got passed in that section right in front of us, and like the crowd was going crazy all night, but they really liked the Kawasaki guys. Tomac and AC, they really like them. They're big favorites.
Exactly, yeah. And, well, especially Adam Cianciarulo, who's, we're seeing this battle that's been going on for this whole season with Dylan Ferrandis. So, yeah, it's good to see those guys. Like you said, Cianciarulo managed to get by RJ right in front of us, and he slowly started to check out, and that was pretty much it for this one. We had Adam Cianciarulo who had to win. RJ took second spot. Dylan Ferrandis in third. Michael Mosman in fourth. Justin Starling with a great showing in fifth. Killian Oberson in sixth. Jerry Robin in seventh. Martin Costello in eighth. And then Logan Carno will go straight to the main event.
Exactly. And Michael Mosman, just to throw in there, Michael Mosman, he was going for it. Like, he was trying to pass like Ferrandis and stuff. Like, he didn't care at all.
Oh, yeah.
So he looked good.
He looked really good. He's gotten better and better the last couple of weekends, and this race, it definitely showed. And he has the speed. He definitely saw that. He has the speed, and he has, obviously, as the end of the season, all we got left is that showdown, but watch out for him next year.
Yeah, I feel like this is like, I don't know if I could call it like a breakout race, but it was like a big race for him, and he looked really good all night.
Yeah. Going into this LCQ, we have, as we mentioned, Garth Marchbanks, who had the mechanical, and then Chris Blows, who had a mistake. He had to go to the LCQ. It was going to be Chris Blows, though, with the whole shot, with a very, very close Garrett Marchbanks right there. Marchbanks will take the lead, though, and will be followed by Chris Blows. Enzo Lopez with another good start, although is in the LCQ.
Yeah.
And then Blaine Silveira, I guess his other Brazilian compadre, in fourth spot.
Yeah, and I feel like there wasn't really too much to talk about this race since those four ran like that from start to finish.
Yep.
So Garrett Marchbanks won, Chris Blows, Enzo Lopes, and Blaine Silveira all going to the main event.
That's right. Matthias Jorgensen just outside the bubble.
Yep. That's kind of where he's been all season too, right there.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and jump into this 250 main event. It was pretty exciting. The drama was to the minimum, I could say. But it was still really exciting and just cool to watch.
I was going to say, I don't know if exciting is the right word we want to use on this one because there was a couple battles here and there, but yeah, it was exciting. I was just talking about it right now. Yeah. The whole shot, though, will go to Michael Mosiman, who we mentioned had a great night of racing, and he sneaked in like right inside Adam Cianciarulo and he just took it from him.
Yeah, not only that, he rode the widest bike ever and really held him off. He did like such a good job holding him off.
Oh yeah. Mosiman will take the lead, and after the first turn, he will be followed by Adam Cianciarulo. Jimmy D will be in third place, and then Garch Marbanks, who had a terrible gate pick, will be sitting in fourth after this start, but he will go down right away, and it looked like he hit his wrist. He was holding his wrist, and he was holding something else. And then I just came to the conclusion he hit his balls really, 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 really bad, and he was definitely hurt.
I don't know how you got to that conclusion, but it looked like he hurt his wrist. But you were telling me something else, and
yeah. Well, here's an update on him, and it says Marshman is a little sore after a get off on Saturday, but happy that there isn't anything long term. We'll see him in his first Vegas Supercross.
So they didn't specify any injury then, any part of the body.
No, just balls.
Okay. All right, maybe that's what it was, maybe. But yeah, anyway, so after that happened, McAdoo ended up there in fourth, right behind Dakotas. Ferrandis was in fifth. Nichols was in sixth. Bloss was in seventh. Hampshire behind them in eighth. And Mosiman, like we said, he was just doing such a great job holding off Adam Cianciarulo during this race, and really was beneficial for Dylan Ferrandis because he was able to get past Cameron McAdoo, and it looked like maybe he could catch up and they could have a pretty good little battle.
Exactly, yeah. Adam Cianciarulo, who was wasting no time trying to pass Mosiman, and like you said, he was just riding the widest bike, and Adam really tried everything in his book to get by the rookie, and he even made a couple of mistakes trying to make this like superstar passes, and after a while though he will eventually stick to the pass and get the lead from.
Yeah, they had some really close racing too, and the whole crowd was so into it for like a whole lap and a half, 2 laps, like super into it. But they battled for
a while.
Yeah, like Mosiman, he led the first 6 laps of this race, so really good ride for him. He did start to go a little downhill towards the end of this race, especially as Ferrandis worked his way up. And the same thing happened whenever Ferrandis caught Mosiman, because Mosiman, held Ferrandis off for a good amount of time too. And then Ferrandis finally just had enough and just blitzed by him in the whoops.
Yeah, Ferrandis, who, as you mentioned, he was sitting in 5th place. He got past McAdoo. So Cole Nichols got past McAdoo, and those 2 guys were in a mission. Ferrandis, he passed Mosiman after a while. I told you in the stadium, I was like, that's the worst thing that could happen because he wasted so much time trying to pass him, and Adam Cianciarulo was just opening that gap, and not a good thing, especially for Ferrandis, and especially since we know how good Adam Cianciarulo is in the showdown, and that's the only race these guys got left to race pretty much. So Adam Cianciarulo has a great history with showdowns in the past. Like he won last year and the year before. He just won the one in Atlanta. He's won in Vegas in the Super Mini and the All-Star class with the Monster Energy Cup situation. So it's not looking good for Ferrandis when it comes to, I guess, stats and Adam Cianciarulo with Vegas. But we'll see, He will get, though, Mosiman with 5 minutes left. But Adam Cianciarulo was like 7 seconds in front of them. So, and he would look really good, too, up front. So I don't know. Yeah, it was not looking good for the Frenchman.
Yeah, he was able to close the gap a little bit, but as you said, he ran out of time. He was 5.7 seconds behind Adam Cianciarulo at the end of this race. So Adam Cianciarulo won. Dylan Ferrandis got second. Colt Nichols was able to work his way up to third. RJ Hampshire got past Mosiman for fourth. And then Michael Mosiman got fifth. Cameron McAdoo got sixth. Jimmy Dakotas got seventh. Justin Starling got eighth. Dylan Merriam got ninth. Enzo Lopez got 10th. Martin Costello got 11th. Sean Cantrell got 12th. Robbie Wageman got 13th. Killian Alberson got 14th. Chris Blows 15th. Logan Carno 16th, Bradley Leonette 17th, Johnny Garcia 18th, Jerry Robin 19th, Chris Howell 20th, Blaine Silvera 21st, and Garrett Marchbanks, who, as we said, obviously crashed out with a DNS, or DNF, I guess. It was DNS because he didn't make it the whole lap, but he got 22nd. Yeah,
Justin Starling, though, with his third top 10 in a row, looking very good, man.
Yep, always got to cheer for the Florida guys. But, dude, these points, even though AC won, it's still pretty close. He's up 8 points over Dylan Ferrandis. So 208 for Adam Cianciarulo, 200 for Dylan Ferrandis, and Colt Nichols way back there, 163. And then way back there again is RJ Hampshire with 145. So, yeah, I mean, 8 points, you know, anything could happen. 8 points.
Oh, yeah, especially with the showdown coming up. So I know I said that Adam Cianciarulo has a great record for showdowns and Vegas, but, you know, Dylan Ferrandis is hungry. We're going to have the East Coast guys out there, and it could make things very interesting. And speaking of East Coast guys, we talked about Faulkner in our preview show for Denver and how he had a crash over in Nashville. And I guess he torn an ACL and maybe some bone bruised.
Yep, during the LCQ, the 250 LCQ race, they talked to Mitch Payton, and he said, yeah, he damaged his knee, but then I think it was Ricky or someone also heard that he tore his ACL. So it looks like he's going to ride.
Ralph. Yeah, Ralph actually was the one that talked to Mitch Payton, and he said that in the broadcast, which, by the way, it was a little bit bad for them, but that's another thing. But he is scheduled to race Vegas and this weekend, so hopefully, you know, we'll see a good battle because those guys are also close, but we'll talk about those in our preview show.
That's right. So there is only 2 races left, East Rutherford and then Vegas. So, yeah, this West Coast, we just wrapped that up. Their next race will be Vegas, and it's going to be exciting. But is there anything else we should add to this Denver 250 recap?
Yeah, just remember to follow us at MXSX Podcast everywhere, pretty much. Keeping you guys updated with everything that's happening in our sports. Don't forget to tell your friends, to tell their friends, to tell their friends, and to listen every time. Peace.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.